Well, so I'm in a fine pickle here. I came to get the forklift and to pick up the pallets of jack parts to deliver them to the painter. And I had just enough to get outside on the taxiway. So I can't leave here until Dave gets back with a bottle of gas so I can get this done. Anyway, funny moment, great way to start out the week. By the way, good morning from Provo, Utah. Okay, so we got a bottle of propane, and now I'm delivering the jacks. And now I can say what the announcement is. Duncan Aviation has volunteered to paint the jacks. They are just amazing, helping us do the things that we need to do to get this airplane airworthy. Anyway, so we'll get these unloaded and then I'll be back. Okay, you remember the other day I told you that I think Jan just looks for stuff to make. I think that's his pleasure in life. Hang on. All right, Jan. Now what are you doing?
Well, the electrical guys decided they want to put an antenna through here, wire through here, so we got to make a little mounting plate for it, for this splitter. And we have our antenna wires coming through here. Gonna get on top of here, go to here like that. So what I've done is made a paper model to give me an approximation of what this part's going to look like. So a little C channel and then a table. That'll go there. There you have it.
Okay. So another thing that's on our list of things to do is to get all of our antennas working to our radios. And this is just part of it. So we've got the coax strung. Now it's just figuring out how to terminate everything, introduce it to the radio sets, get it all anti-chafed, and we'll just continue to go from there. Another big ticket item that we have to deal with is our fire suppression tubes that we do not have. I've made a few phone calls to see if, I know there's a couple of K models in museums, see if we can borrow the tubes to make our own. Museums are kind of hesitant to do things like that, so we'll see what happens. Otherwise, we've got to dream them up because we are missing 3 pipes and it's very important. So I'll show you those in a bit. Okay,
So like that.
And the next step in this is turning the paper doll into metal. So we'll see how this looks with that little signal splitter. Like that, and then here's your nav wire.
And like so. And about like that.
Okay.
Like that. So let's put the ABL back up in there.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Yeah, this is better than I thought. So anyway, there's your little stand for the signal splitter.
Well, I'll make Bob and John happy.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep going on this little project and see if we can get it installed. Let me go down and show you what we're doing on the tubes while Jan is fiddling with that. All right, so here are our fire bottles that we have yet to send off for hydro testing and refilling. We just acquired our double checks, and here's some of the tubing that we have. What we don't have is another one of these, and we don't have either one of these tubes that go up into these other fittings back here. And what that gives the ability to do with the fire control system in the cockpit, the pilots can direct either one of these bottles to either side of the airplane, either one or both of these bottles to either side of the airplane. So the problem is that there are weird angles when this is all assembled. So not only do you have an S-curve going up into there, you also might have an angle. So I'm reaching out trying to find somebody that has this same system that we can actually borrow and see if we can copy the manufacturer. There's no drawings that I've been able to find on this system. This was developed by Onmark for this particular airframe. And when they built the K models, this is the same system they used. When Special K was restored and made flyable, it had nothing in there. So they created their own fire extinguishing system. I know that there's a system at the Pima Air Museum, and there's a K model at the South Dakota Air and Space Museum. So I'm reaching out to see if we can borrow them. So I'll get back to you, see how this project goes. And just like that, we go from this paper doll to Fabricator Jan building a part. Still have a little bit to do. Gonna put a spacer between here and there so that this thing doesn't sit here and wiggle in the airplane. But I'll show it to you when we get done. Okay, Jan has worked his magic again. Check this out. He's just crazy. But this thing doesn't move now. It was a little spongy before he put this standoff in here. But yeah, that's not moving. So now we can get the antennas wired to the radios, and still looking for funds on the GoFundMe to get the other radio. Anyway, we'll see what else we get done. Today's been a little bit different kind of a day. We were going over the murder board over there, and let me show you that. All right, we were able to eliminate some stuff off of here. We've got the transponder installed and wired. All of this stuff relates to the annunciator panel, and that's done. For now, we've got the upper and lower beacons, so we are not planning on, at this point, putting strobes in the wings. We took care of this. This was a problem in the left nacelle. There's control cables that run across the top of the firewall, and one of our vent lines was going down through and a little too close, so that's been taken care of. We got, what else? There was something else. We've created enunciator devices. They're working on the radio connections now, and we can't test the vacuum system on the pilot side until we get the nose on, which, oh, watch this, nose installed. Also, Jan has reworked these frames. This window and this window, with the exception of pro-sealing the edges, are now ready to fly. And then Bob and John have been up here. They've been working on the antenna cables, and that
Nav and comm
and that splitter right there is now part and parcel to the airplane.
Yep.
So that's where we're going to end the video this week. Appreciate everybody watching what we're doing. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and have a nice weekend.